Dr. Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions. And this is Ask the Doctor, and I often get asked about the cerebellum. What is the cerebellum? Well, this is the brain, and this is the neocortex here. Underneath here, you see the brain stem. This is the brain stem. And then this is the cerebellum, and it is part of the pons. In fact, the pons is also the cerebellum. And what does it do? Well, imagine it's a tenth the size of the brain, but it's half the neurons. And I want you to think of it as like the chief operating officer. The CEO is the brain. The brain is going to decide what to do, and it's going to tell the cerebellum what it wants to do. But then it's the cerebellum that makes it happen. It gets things going. So it's going to go through a process where the brain decides what to do. It tells the cerebellum what to do. And the cerebellum is going to send back some patterns. Say, hey, we've done that before. And here are 5 good options that we already have wired into us. Pick one and we'll do it. And the cortex picks it, sends it back, and that becomes what we call efferent copy. That is the standard that it's going to go by. Then the cerebellum gets things rolling, all the movement, but it's also monitoring all of the feedback from all the categories, from all the areas of the body, and seeing, okay, we've got this movement going, and this is what's happening, but then it's going to take all that feedback and grade it, look at it, and compare it to the efferent copy. I call it the little sister. Right, Leanna? Right, Jolene? You're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. And then it keeps modifying and refining that, and that's my favorite word about the cerebellum. It's a great refiner. It's going to bring things into a greater and greater and greater refinement of movement. What is the most refined movement you do? Speech. Speech is by far the most refined. What is the next? Walking. Walking is. So the cerebellum is vital for that, and much of what it does isn't as much about movement as about saying no to movement. It's saying, okay, I'm going to let this happen, but then I'm not going to let all this other movement to happen. But it has its hand in everything. And what are some of the movements? E-movement, E-motion, right? And all the things relating to anything that's a product of movement. Thinking about thinking, personality, decision making, attention. All of these things are related to what the cerebellum does. The cerebellum has its hand in everything. Why? It's the chief operating officer. Think about it like mom and dad. Dad makes the decisions, but mom's making it happen. Because if dad made it happen, it wouldn't happen. Right, ladies? All right. So, cerebellum, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, contact us, and we'll rocket another video out to you. This is Dr. Elmer. We're here when you're ready to take your life back.